Everything that we do is for his glory. I will take responsibility and ownership of my tasks and duties. I will strive daily to achieve a life of purpose and productiveness. I will take initiative to be the solution and make a difference. I will exercise sound stewardship of time, capital, and resources. I will embrace and drive change within our communities and beyond. Sorry, for those of you that are parents, you know what I just thought about. Anyway, we'll move forward. I will think positively and act powerfully. I will serve as a beacon of knowledge to clients, partners, colleagues, and my community. I will promote an attitude of gratitude. Guys, this is what we stand for. This is who we are. And the more you read this and the more this gets from here to here, the more you live it. And what's funny is we're just in the final stages of our Good Stewardship series. And so this should be a huge writing on the wall that what we stand for is good stewardship. Everybody with me so far? So I want to challenge you guys to make sure that you review it and let it drop from the head to the heart so that we can live it out together. Everybody with me? Awesome. So with that said, speaking of stewardship, this is the last series of stewardship that we're going to be, or the last segment of the stewardship series we're teaching, called The Good Steward. What's really funny is, actually, Scott goes to church with me. And what was yesterday about?
It was all about this exact thing and about how bringing how you approach everything and the way that you approach your finances and to the greater benefit. It was a very powerful, moving message. And so I'm sitting about 3 rows in front of Rick, and I turn around and look, and you know, we had this moment. It was really cool, because it was point spot on to everything that we do here. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. So I think somebody is saying something to us. So anyway, I'm going to briefly go through all the bullets as I usually do, just because, again, I want, again, from here to here. I'm so tired of so many people that they hear so many things. They're like almost drug addicts when it comes to knowledge, but they don't apply it. And so then what's the point? You know, like if knowledge was powered, librarians would rule the world, guys. And the reality is they don't. In fact, I don't even think they make 20 grand a year. All right. So again, remember, we have the book going out. We have an awesome team in place already getting it together. So that's the final cover, by the way.
Good picture.
You like it?
Yeah, I like that picture.
Yeah. So we got everything in order. Some final things that are getting worked out. And I think today's the order for the 1,000 books to get it going. So just wanted you guys to know. And so what I want to do now for the rest of the series is specifically talk about 3 powerful benefits that will actually impact your life and your family if you apply these principles consistently. Everybody with me? Just want to make sure. All right. So principle number 1, if you're a good steward, you're going to be entrusted with more. You see, when you produce, you're trusted with more in life and in business. And I really want to kind of read this. If you remember, we started the series, so I thought it was perfect to end it with this, with an actual scripture, a parable from the Gospel of Matthew, where he says, his master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge over many things. So one of the things that I want to tell you is, if you are a good steward, it doesn't matter where you are, but let's say in this office in particular, and you show that you're a good steward, that you're consistent, that you're somebody who's trustworthy, that you're contributing towards the vision, over time, when you earn that trust and people see that you're a good steward, they entrust you with more. And what does that mean? More opportunity. What happens with more opportunity? That means you make more money. You also get more favor and you create more influence. So those are the key things that I really want you to think about. So what does it mean to be entrusted with more? More opportunities. There will come times where opportunities come to me. Opportunities that you wouldn't even know exist. But because one of you has become a good steward, I immediately think about that person and I say, I can trust this person with this project, and therefore I'm going to pay them to do this thing. Or I'm going to trust this person because they're a good steward, so I'm going to joint venture with them on this opportunity. And what that does is, before anybody sees an opportunity, those individuals who have earned that trust get the shot. Everybody with me? Now, what's interesting is some of those shots could be as little as $1,000 sometimes. Sometimes they're as good as 10, 20, 50, you start making some money, right? Why? Because those opportunities that you help to realize, first, you got them because you're a good steward. But second, as you execute and you are consistent with what you were doing before, you're just making more money. And so I want to challenge you guys, if you want to get more and get so much more, then I challenge you to be a good steward, because these are one of the benefits that come with being a good steward. So opportunity equals more income and favor. So what does that mean? Well, when you think about favor, you think about, at least in the world's perspective, have you ever been somewhere and you walk into a place and everybody has to go through this process? And this is the line that you wait in. And then you see some guy that comes in from around the line. They're like, hey, Mr. So-and-so, welcome, come in here. We have a table for you. You guys ever seen that? And you're thinking, God, I hate that guy, right? I wish I didn't have to wait for 45 minutes, but this guy has his own reserved table. Well, if you look at it from that perspective, that's what favor is. Favor will bypass the process because you earned it from somebody else. Okay, so if you really want to go to the next level, sometimes it's getting favor from the leaders around you who say, here, we're going to skip this step and I'm going to give you access to the vault. Why? Because you've earned it, because you have earned my trust, and therefore what others can't, you can. And that's the power of unlocking more. Everybody with me so far? And when we talk about influence, one of the other things that I want to talk about, which will lead into one of the next steps, is that when you are somebody that everybody knows is influential, you are somebody that makes a difference. What's interesting is how people quote you. You get to a point where people are quoting you, and that influence goes before you. Everybody with me so far? So what ends up happening is you end up going to a meeting, and those people knew you before you even knew who they were. I'll give you an example of how this happened in my life, and it was really interesting. So this is now going all the way back to about 2011. So in 2011, I get a phone call from a friend of mine who said, hey, here's this guy in Vegas. He's working on some pretty good business activities. I'm going to introduce you guys if that's okay. That's all I knew. I talked to the guy, and he's like, listen, man, I really want to bring you here. We're going to pay your way. So I said, hey, look, if I'm going to go to Vegas, my wife has to go with me. That's just the rule. And so they got us tickets, got us in a really nice hotel on the Strip. We're hanging out with my wife. And so before we go, the guy pulls in, and I'll never forget this because it's an amazing story of influence. So he says, listen, I'm about to put you in touch with multi-million-dollar contacts right now. And it is really important that I don't want to get screwed out of this deal. So I hope you don't mind, but I'm having both parties sign a non-compete, non-circumvent agreement. And, I've shown you my good faith by flying you here. Hopefully you won't have an issue with it. So, aside from fixing my name because he screwed it up, I signed it. Said, yeah, not a problem. Let's go. So I'll never forget this. So here we go. We go to this meeting to meet this really special guy that I had to sign an NC&D for. And I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see what this is all about. So I'm sitting down, kind of waiting. We're in the boardroom, got our coffee. The guy's telling me a little bit about this guy and what he does, and he's so excited about this connection. The guy walks up and he goes, hey, you're Rick Malero. And I'm like, yes, I am. Do I know you? And he's like, no, man, I've watched like 30 of your videos. One of my good friends was saying you should be a great contact. And so now you see this guy that's in the boardroom with us who put us together, like, oh, crap. So it was funny just to think that the influence that we had preceded us. Before I even got there, the guy knew who I was. But the whole time, the guy in the middle was trying to prevent us, right? And so to a degree, what I want to challenge you to do is get to the place where you have so much influence that your name precedes you. Wherever you go, people know you. People already know that, hey, this is a person, he's a businessman, he's successful. I want to be like that. Do you follow me? Because what that does is it gives you more favor, it gives you more opportunities, and it gives you more income opportunities for everybody in your home. And I think you guys would agree that more income opportunities are okay, right? At least two of you got it. Good. All right. So here's a power question. This guy's like, yeah. All right. So here's a power question, because again, I really believe that it's all about asking the right questions. So I want you to picture this. If you want more, I want you to envision this. What would your life be like if you were entrusted with 10 times more income, more opportunity, and more influence that you currently have? What would that look like? How would that change your life? I want you to visualize it. And the reason why I want you to visualize it is because, to be honest with you, if you really want to go to the next level, you have to start with the end in mind. And if you can see what that would look like, you'll work harder now and be more disciplined today in order to earn that opportunity. So just think about your income, multiply it by 10, and just imagine what that would do for you and your family. And that all begins with being a good steward. That's the benefit of being a good steward. Everybody with me?